You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Oh, hi, it's Dalby. And before we go fully on our vacation, we wanted to make sure that you are as taken care of here on the podcast as we possibly can. So we've got a full-on, exclusive, almost 30-minute podcast episode, never heard on the radio. That's going to come out on Wednesday. But for today, wanted to give you some of the extra stuff from this week that we just didn't have time to fit into our main podcast. So here is your Cut for Time segment, starting with a little Text Us Tuesday.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Of course, since the Stanley Cup Finals was yesterday, we got a text here from Dan. It says, which Canadian team do you think has the best chance to end Canada's Stanley Cup drought?
I mean, it's Oilers and Leafs right now, right? Like, Ottawa's miles away.
Yeah.
Winnipeg has some potential. I think so does Vancouver.
Winnipeg had a really good season.
Yeah.
So,
but they've got to extend it. I think the Oilers, just based on Game 7, right?
Yeah.
Probably the best chance. If the Leafs can ever figure out how playoff hockey works, they've got the talent for it.
You know what? I think I know the pick. It's the Quebec Nordiques. Whenever they come back one day, 20 years from now, that's when we'll get a Stanley Cup
just
again.
take that franchise away from those losers in Colorado and put them back in Quebec.
Sure.
And see if they can break the jinx.
Someone said, no shoes on the golf course. How do you feel about that?
We've talked about this before. There are very few instances in public where I think your grippers should be out, and golf is one of them. I get the whole, I feel more in sync with the course and stuff like that. Put your friggin' shoes on.
I don't think there's a time, like, at least in public, really, that you should, like... It feels weird. If you're going to take your shoes off, then don't wear a golf shirt. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to dress the part, then keep the shoes on. Right. I'm not a big fan of people's feet in general. Feet, like, honestly, seriously gross me out. You know this?
If we're not in a long-term committed relationship, keep your dogs to yourself.
Yes.
And that doubly goes on the golf course.
Absolutely.
If we're sharing a cart and I see your bare feet touch the pedals, I'm walking.
You also better be drunk.
Yeah.
If you're not drinking in your barefoot, then, like...
That's true.
Too far.
Yeah, if you're on the first hole and you've already shoes off, we're like 12, 13 and you're in the sauce, I maybe go, let them be.
I'll give you it if you've had a few drinks.
Yeah.
But if you're sober, not possible.
Someone just texted in, are you guys even married? No.
No, Dalby's never proposed, so...
I can't get you to buy me dinner, much less buy you a ring. Come on.
Someone said, what is the worst part about summer?
You know what? I might be inclined as a heavier set guy to say like the heat and the sweat and stuff like that, but it's the bugs. It's the bugs for me. Once I start getting bit, I just get grumpy.
See, I don't even think you said the heat thing. I don't even think it's the heat itself. The biggest thing I hate about summer is wanting to complain about the heat. Because living here in Canada, I know that we got like a few months of this and then we're back to the frozen tundra that is our winters.
You know what? You're right.
And like that's the biggest piss off of summer is like being like, it's so damn hot, but you're like, I don't want to complain because I know it's going to be freezing and then I'm going to be complaining about that in a few months.
Screw that. I'm going to go ahead and say it because I was thinking like that buzzing in your ears and stuff like that with the bugs is the most annoying sound. No, the most annoying sound of the summer is that mutt that's going to go like, oh, you can't complain about the heat. It's going to be -30 soon enough. I can still complain about the heat because it's still sweltering hot. I'm allowed to be upset about both temperature extremes.
I just feel like whenever winter comes around, I'm always like, I miss that global warming. Like,
I like fall and I like spring where the temperatures are moderate in both directions. Winter and summer are stupid. I'm saying it.
All right, you got one that you want to wrap up with here?
Let's see here. You know what? Someone said that you say all the time that Ed's word of the day is your favorite time of the day. Would you say that's your favorite time of the day?
It's my favorite time of the day because A, it's always funny what Ed's word is, and then B, it's also the end of the day. So,
right.
Yeah.
As much as we enjoy our job, that is the end of the workday, so there is a benefit to that.
But someone asked if that's Brock's favorite part of the day, what is Dalby's favorite part of the day?
I would say my favorite part of the day comes shortly thereafter. After we do Ed's word of the day, then we leave here. I go home, I upload the podcast, and then I nap. That's my favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
It's right in between the obligations of work and the obligations of parenting. is a nice 26-minute scientifically proven nap.
The only person that can hurt you is your own thoughts.
And boy, did they ever do good.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I love a good protest. I love getting people together and using your voice to try and bring change to the world. But also, sometimes it's just funny. Have you heard about what they're trying to do to the river in Paris?
No, what's going on there?
So the Olympics are coming, just like a little over a month away.
Oh, damn, yeah.
And there are going to be some events that will be taking place in the, I believe it's pronounced Seine River. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. But it's dirty as hell. Like, you see it, it just looks kind of gross. And the French government, specifically the Paris municipal government, has spent a lot of money trying to clean up the water. And there are people protesting because, one, they think that that money could be better used for social programs and things of that nature. And two, even after all this money, the water still looks disgusting. So they decided, the mayor of France and the president of France, the mayor of Paris, president of France, were going to come and swim in the Seine River to show that while it might not look great, it is still clean.
And this is all just for the Olympics.
This is all for the Olympics. The population decided that they were going to poop in the river. They had it
That's
figured
their
out.
protest?
They had it figured out what time President Macron and I'm not sure the mayor's name, but she was going to be there as well. They were going to go swimming. They were like, here's, if you live here, poop in the river at this time so that it flows to the spot. And they had it mapped out all the way like up country. For like, if you lived in the boonies outside Paris, poop in the river, it'll float at about this pace.
I respect what they are trying to do, but I will say they are asking for a lot. Have you ever tried to time out a bowel movement before?
Right? To be like minute perfect.
That's not an easy thing to do, man.
To be like, if you poop at 3:45 exactly at this point in the river, it'll get there to ruin Macron's day. That's so much pressure on your bowels.
I don't know about you, but I don't run on like a cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like some of them happen at certain parts of the day, but I couldn't be like 7:47 a.m. Let's go.
I know that after the show, I'm good to go home and probably spend some time.
Yeah.
But it's not like at 10:45, I will pull the trigger.
It's not clockwork kind of stuff. Also, I'm not going to lie. Are you supposed to poop in front of everyone?
Well, I guess that's the thing, right? If you're upstream, you've kind of got the privacy. But if you're all pooping right in the area, which is what the protest is supposed to be, then theoretically, they would have dozens and dozens of people all pooping
I got
together.
no problem going number one in front of people. Number two is where I get a little shy. I'm not going to lie on that one.
You know what? I think I could do it if nobody looked at me. You know what I mean? It's like when you see people who can go invisible in the movies if no one sees them.
Also, like, are you supposed to be in the water? Are you supposed to hang off the water? Like, it's a funny and it's a great idea, but I just feel like, you know,
there are a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Also, the thing is you're essentially trying to assault the president of the country with your own feces, not directly, but indirectly. And doesn't it feel like that has to be a jailable offense?
Oh, I'm pretty sure you can't go. We couldn't go outside the studio and just take a dump right now.
Right. Like, again, I'm all for protest and using your voice, and I don't think that should be stifled. But if you're pooping in a public body of water with the purpose of assaulting the president of the country, that feels like you're going to spend some time, and now you're in a cell, and someone's going to ask you, what are you in for? And you're going to have to tell them because you pooped.
Yeah. Watching the Olympics, seeing a guy get a gold medal, and you can slightly tell that he's starting to get pink eye, and you're like, I did that.
That's me.
That's me.
I had an impact on this sport.
That's the power of protesting, folks.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast. Would you rather Wednesday? Would you rather Wednesday?
All right, let's get weird. 762-555. We've got some would you rather questions rolling in here. First one says, would you rather never ever eat meat again or have to eat hot dogs for breakfast every day for the rest of your life?
Well, one of those isn't a negative. I would eat hot dogs for breakfast. Not a problem.
I know. I was going to say, I mean, like, yeah, I could eat hot dogs.
The only thing that would stop me from eating a hot dog for breakfast tomorrow is who wants to get up and boil water. Imagine having a kettle the way that some people make tea and porridge in the morning, but you're boiling water to make a hot dog?
You want to know a game changer for hot dogs out there?
Hit me.
Air fryer.
Oh, I gotta get an air fryer.
Air fryer hot dogs, man. Makes a difference. Make the little slits in them and stuff.
Yeah,
2 minutes in there. Perfection.
Sounds like the perfect way to start your day.
Yeah.
You get some good protein from whatever meat hot dogs are.
Why are breakfast sausages okay, but hot dogs got the slander on them?
True. That's actually very true.
Right?
People love breakfast sausages. You can get all kinds of sausage meat in patties and in links and all that stuff. But if I eat a hot dog, I'm the weirdo.
I want a breakfast wiener.
Give me a juicy jumbo first thing in the morning or leave me alone.
Here's another one. Would you rather be able to survive in space or survive at the deepest part of the ocean?
I mean, theoretically, only one of those is going to ever happen. Like, I'm much more capable of falling in the ocean than I am of getting to space. I need to be taken to space. I could just walk east for a while and get into the ocean.
Yeah.
So I guess I would take that. I don't want to go to either. They're both terrifying.
I don't know. The water, deep down in the water scares me more than space. Plus, like, I've been looking for some alone time for a bit, so time to think, you know?
Just shoot you into orbit every now and again when you need some alone time, and then you just float back down. Hey, guys, I'm back.
Someone said, would you rather a weekend getaway with the in-laws, or would you rather build a deck by yourself?
I mean, Brock will be the first one to talk about how not handy I am. So, in-laws, I would build a terrible deck.
It depends what in-laws we're talking about. If it's Courtney's mom, I'd love to spend a weekend with her.
Oh, okay.
The other one, no, I'll build a deck.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
My in-laws all listen to the podcast, so I'm just gonna say in-laws and let y'all figure it out. Let's see here. This one says, would you rather eat super spicy food all the time or super sweet food all the time? From Chris and Alicia.
Spicy. I'm not the biggest on sweet stuff, but I do like heat. And, I mean, I think the spicier you eat, the more it cleans out your body a little bit.
The thing is, though, isn't it bad for you at a certain point of time to eat super spicy
probably, yeah.
all the time? Like, I feel like super sweet is not great for you either, but there's insulin and toothbrushes to, like, sort of try and keep you even keel.
For sure.
If I have to eat super spicy all the time, I'll eventually get used to the heat, but I don't think your insides ever fully do.
Yeah, I won't have to use as much toilet paper, though, with the spicy.
That's very true.
You know, big Baudet week, that's for sure.
Go right through the eye of a needle.
All right, what's another one here? Would you rather eat yellow snow or swim in a pool of yellow?
I guess probably the float. I wouldn't want to put it in my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, and if you've ever been to a public swimming pool, like, that's...
You are essentially floating in a pool of yellow.
That's basically what it is. I know a lot of pools say, oh, you get that, like, red line around you. That's not true.
We've got chlorine. The water's so clean and purified. Nope, it's not.
That's a myth, like eating carrots will make your eyesight better, you know? It's just one of those lies they tell us as we're kids.
Yeah, no, you're right. We're already used to going to public pools, so I would definitely rather do that than eat a pea snow cone.
I remember going to a kid who his family like stayed at a trailer park, and we went in there, and he's like, yeah, it doesn't work, and he just peed in the pool while we were all in there.
Oh,
and
like he's standing out of the pool?
That's how I learned that the myth did not work.
What a power move.
Plus, then every other time I went to a pool, I'd pee inside it and be like, nobody knows.
You know that kid's the head of the family after that move, right? Like, who's going to tell him anything?
Not the lifeguard, that's for sure.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
She's short, but she's sweet this week. Thank you for tuning in to a little bonus podcast. I think this is episode 73. The next one is going to be a full-length podcast exclusive. None of this is from the radio. This is just Brock and I sitting down just before our vacation and recording something just for you. And that'll be coming out right here, wherever you're hearing this podcast. That one will be coming out on Wednesday. And then, well, we'll be back on the 8th. That is when we return to the studio, to the microphone, and to you here on the podcast. Until then, keep it sexy. Bye, everybody.
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store, with all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.